actually under his control, but because he had stamps and passports, he saved 3,000 lives. 3,000 lives. And we, unfortunately, in the West, we American Jews do not know as much about the relationship of the Azerbaijanis to the Jewish community, which is why we're so proud and happy to have Consul General Nasimi Aghayev with us tonight. So, Milech Yedvai, leaders in Israel, actually has members of its foreign ministry who are Muslims and Christians. So at that particular time, try and follow this logic for just a second. Abdol-Hossein Sardari utilized Nazi racial theory to argue to the Vichy authorities in France.
Joining us here in Los Angeles, Nasimi was in the embassy in Washington, D.C., and before that he was in the Azeri embassies in Germany and Austria, and before that served in their mission which dealt sort of equivalent of our State Department, Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Azerbaijan. He has an LLM degree from Germany, and he has a master's degree and a bachelor's degree in international relations from Azerbaijan. He speaks 7 languages.
Thank you very much for inviting me to address this wonderful community you have at this beautiful synagogue. So Shabbat Shalom, or as they used to say, Good Shabbos. So it's a real true pleasure to be here with you today and to speak a little bit about what we have in common between our countries, but also between our two people. But first, a little bit of information about Azerbaijan. It's a young democracy, just 25 years old. This year exactly, we turned 25 years old as a Republic of Azerbaijan for the last 25 years. And today, Azerbaijan is the largest economy in the region, investing billions of dollars in Azerbaijan and abroad, and helping many people in need in underdeveloped countries. So the tides have drastically changed. Azerbaijan's transformation from a war-torn, poor and unstable country into what it is today has been a truly remarkable journey. But this transformation would have been difficult, if not impossible, without the wholehearted support of our friends. The Israeli embassy in the entire region was opened in Baku, our national capital, in 1992, establishing full diplomatic relations between the two countries. Since then, this relationship has tremendously developed to cover so many areas, from agriculture to telecommunications to defense industry. Azerbaijan is proud to provide today around half of the oil Israel imports. So the joke nowadays is that every second car in Israel is running. Historians say that after the destruction of the Second Temple, we got the Jewish people coming to Azerbaijan and settling down in this country. And these people, Jewish people, have lived in Azerbaijan always in peace and dignity, seeing nothing but respect from their Azerbaijani brothers and sisters. Actually invited the Jewish people to come, and he gave half of his capital city to the Jews to build their own town. And today, after 270 years ago, this Jewish town is there, and rightly mentioned, it's one of the largest Jewish shtetls outside of Israel today. But if you consider, of course, Brooklyn and Pico Robertson, a little bit smaller, but in that part of the much more autonomy, I would say. So it's called Red Town, used to be called Jewish Town, but then the Soviets changed it to Red Town. So as always, with their own ideology. But then the Jews of the region decided to keep it after Azerbaijan became independent. And this is a historic friendship between the Azerbaijani and Jewish people, dating back for centuries. Today, 30,000 Jews still live in Azerbaijan, peacefully, harmoniously. And our first republic, the one I mentioned from 1918 to 1920, even had Jews as ministers in the cabinet. So imagine, 100 years ago, the Minister of Health, for example, was Jewish himself, and so many others working in the government, in the parliament, representing the Jewish people in the parliament as well. So the principle of interfaith tolerance and harmony has always been an important part of our culture. But as an independent nation, Azerbaijan has elevated this principle, making it a government policy. And this, which actually makes the government of Azerbaijan probably the only government in the world that built and gifted a synagogue to its Jewish community. No offense to the government in Israel, but we understand the challenge. If they start building synagogues, they'll get a lot of requests. So all these measures are directed at making sure that this model of interfaith harmony becomes stronger and stronger every day. One other interesting thing, apart from the harmony between religions, we'll also try to make sure that the harmony within the religion also works. And this also is specifically true for the majority Muslim population. 65% of our Muslim population are Shias, and the rest, of course, are Sunnis. This year, we opened a large mosque in Baku, and we also immediately launched Shia-Sunni joint prayers. So every Friday, Shias and Sunnis together get together and pray together, which is unimaginable, as you may understand, in many other countries in the region. So we try to be a model in that sense as well. And most of, as I said, the Shia Sunnis don't pay even attention. They even don't know who is Shia and Sunni, without paying any attention to one's sectarian affiliation. So we try to promote this model as much as possible in our wider region. We think the more nations could follow this model, the more peace would be in our world. There's no alternative to it. The alternative would be more wars, more bloodshed, and more human suffering. We are proving the radicals wrong on a daily basis. We're proving that it is possible for Jews and Muslims to live peacefully together, to respect, even admire each other. 25 years ago, when Azerbaijan just became independent and was weak and unprotected, our neighbor Armenia invaded 20% of our territory, but even more tragically, expelled around 1 million Azerbaijanis from their homes and lands. A true and simple ethnic cleansing. Around 400,000 of those people were children. All innocent victims of this tragedy. And because of the invasion and the presence of Armenia's armed forces today still on our soil, despite the international condemnation, despite the UN Security Council resolutions, all these people, refugees, are not allowed to return to their homes. And we very much appreciate that the State of Israel has always supported Azerbaijan in our struggle for justice and stood by us, always. We were also very much touched and moved when we saw the President of Israel, Reuven Rivlin, last year address the UN General Assembly on their Holocaust Remembrance Day and mention this injustice that was committed against Azerbaijani people, drawing publicly attention to this problem, which sometimes is thought to be forgotten, frozen, like sometimes they say, but it's not frozen at all. As the last escalation this April showed, when hundreds of people were killed on the line of contact we have with Armenia's troops. So that support is a true sign of a genuine and profound friendship we share with Israel.
So we hope these relationships, Nasimi, are not just left here in the synagogue, but they continue outside here. I want to thank Michael for his extraordinary efforts on behalf of the Jewish community to continue to build strong ties with the Azerbaijani community here in Los Angeles, and we are so grateful for your presence here this evening. Thank you.